Welcome back to another SuperCoach video with me, JD. Joining me today is Jords, as you would know from FantasyTakeTV. Jords, how are you going today?
Very good. Glad I could make it. I know Enno's got an unranked Counter-Strike match to do at the moment, so just us two for today.
I'm glad you could finish up your D&D session in time to make a recording for once. Did you actually end up? Yeah, that's
no,
good.
I have family has COVID at the moment, so I chose to stay home. But yeah, next time, I guess.
The goblins will have to wait for another adventure.
Yep.
For those that haven't heard Jords' D&D story, I think that was on one of our podcasts on the preseason package. So very funny listening to Jords get involved in that world. But what we're bringing to you today is hopefully something a little bit different. I haven't seen anyone else do this so far, and I'm pretty excited. One of the complaints I've seen a lot from both Twitter and my YouTube comments is that all the teams look the same, even this early in the preseason. So what we're doing today is basically a draft. Each player will be unique, can only be picked for one team in the salary cap format. So we've filled the bench with 123 guys and a 102K for the ruck. So very reminiscent of what we will start with our actual teams. But then we're going to flip a coin to decide who goes first, and then we're just going to draft teams from there. Each of us will take turns to pick a player until we have complete teams, and then you will vote on who had the better team, whose do you like more. And we should be having to draw on lots of different knowledge and access different players than what we'd normally put in our teams. So with that said, Jords, would you like heads or tails?
I'll take tails, please.
Oh, yes. All right. I'm up first. That's good. I know who I'm going to pop in first. I think it's going to be Hopper. Oh, I need to fix my filters. So, yeah, I mean, I think in this type of format, you probably just want to get value the best you can and players that are unique. And I guess the thing that Hopper doesn't have is uniqueness. You could have Sheed or Warple as other players to pop in your midfield, but I'm pretty happy with Hopper. I think he's just very solid value for money and one that I'm happy to chuck straight into my side.
Yep. I will be taking... Rowan Marshall. I want to get this one out of the way.
Very interesting. All right, why Marshall?
I think he's the value ruck. I had him as R1 in our rankings. Yeah, I don't know. Just trying to find the best value pick, not a dodgy one. But I suppose there's a whole bunch of guys that are 500k there that you probably could have gone. But I've just chosen to lock in Rowan now.
Yep, and for those that are looking for those rankings, they are a part of the preseason package. Each of Enno, Jords, and I have our rankings up there as well as consensus based on the average between the three of us, although I feel like Jords weights it more. So people like Sicily are up the top and Stuart's down the bottom, but is what it is. All right, I'm going to continue on my value theme, and I'm going to go Elliot Yeo. I probably, knowing like Jords, I probably shouldn't have done this second because he's not a big Yeo lover. Even though I'm sure you could have
let that one slide for a fair while.
Yeah, I could have. But being true to myself, I'm going to keep loading up on the value, and I think Yo is a very good pick there. It's also, there's not a ton of those guys in the defensive line, so good time to get some value there.
Yeah. I'm going to take Toby McLean.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that makes sense.
I think, yeah, it's just... I feel like he's going to be in 100% of serious teams. I better not click save team because that'll ruin my thing.
Yeah, it's going to ruin your bench.
We'll have to, so we'll do that. He'll have to stay at F1 for now. But yeah, I think it speaks for itself, really. Hopefully a big role for him this year.
I think like not ordering it is good anyway, because for people viewing in, like the ones that we're picking first really should be the best value for money picks. Yeah. So these are some of the first guys we'd put in our teams anyway. So it's kind of good. It's not just about the premiums, about finding that value. All right, I'm like pick 5, and I'm already out. Like I don't know who I'd go from here.
I definitely know who I'm going next, but let's see if you can snipe it.
I feel like Dunkley would be your next pick, but I'm probably going to go Taranto just because I think he's one of the better value forwards. So that's what I'm going to lock in. Yep. Who have you got lined up next? Was it Taranto?
No, I'll take Ashcroft.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
I'll just get that out of the way.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it is going to make it harder in the midfield, isn't it?
The reports on him have been pretty nuts. So, yeah, all yours.
Okay. I will take, I think, Bontempelli then. One of
I like that.
one of my first pick midfielders in pretty much every one of my sides. He's, I think, one of the ones that presents value at that point. So yeah, I'm happy to go Bont.
Now, what do I do here?
It gets tough, right? Like you're 4 picks in. There's only 7 players off the board, and it's like, it's quite difficult.
I'm just trying to think, do I go value or just lock in a good player? Probably should go value.
I think the difficulty with picking someone like Oliver right now is you just don't know how much money you're going to have left at the end. So you can't load up on too many of the expensive guys. Yeah. I guess the other thing you got to think a little bit about is about structure. So what's your preferred structure in your team at the moment and how deep is it? So there's lots of like midfielders that are like the 3rd or 4th midfielder that I'm happy to pick.
Okay, I'll just add Dunkley to the forward line. Yeah, I just feel like a bit hard to pass up just given the clear few top forwards against the rest.
Okay. All right. Yep, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, I think he's pretty much everyone's consensus number 1 forward. I don't think I can give up English Marshall in the rucks now. I'm thinking about it because it leaves me like when we compare teams at the ends, if you've got English Marshall and I have Draper and Grundy or something, I don't know. I feel like I lose that almost every time. So I'm going to put in English now.
I'll take Rosie. But the interesting thing with Draper is I thought like I wouldn't say I'm seriously considering him, but he's not completely out of the picture just given, a few like Darcy Cameron and English have had a bit iffy pre-seasons at the moment. I think he's a watch, but yeah, anyway, I'll go with Connor Rosie. I just love his value. And yeah, I think he was about 105 in the midfield. So I think you can do that again.
Don't mind that at all. All right, I've loaded up Will Phillips here. I feel like I have to get.
I forgot about him. Nice.
Yeah. I feel like I have to get. With Ashcroft off the board. If you have Ashcroft and Phillips, I realize like my midfield's going to be in a pretty bad spot. So, take Phillips there. Definitely one of the better rookies we've been offered so far.
Okay, so value. I reckon we take Nick Dacos.
Oh, yep. He need some defense. Yep.
Man, I don't know where to stand on Nick Dacos at the moment. I just think he's just so popular, and you read the preseason reports, and like you see the junior numbers. But he's only 2nd year, and he's at a price where he's got to compete with the big dogs. So it's an interesting one. But I do like his value, and save that bit off the 600k guys.
Would you prefer him playing midfield or halfback this year?
I think midfield. Sounds like Pendlebury's going to spend a bit more time down back, so maybe that's a bit more kick and share. I'd like to see what he can do in the midfield. They do have a lot of guys that can go through there, though.
Yep. All right, I'm just thinking, is there a forward like value or rookie that I really like? Because I'm a little bit worried about that. I honestly can't think of one though. So sorry, you've got Dunkley and Rosie. What's the risk you take a couple more? I don't know. Actually, yeah, this is a problem. There's only 5 that we like, right? So I think I have to take Butters here.
Oh, interesting.
You gonna take Cogs?
You read my mind. I think I'm gonna have to now. It's kind of like because of what you're picking as well. It's kind of come into it. Yeah, I'll go Cogs. Yeah. Oh, I just honestly I know we're just picking a team for fun here, but man, GWS early fixture frightens me not having some of those GWS boys.
Yep.
Which is horrible because we know what happens when GWS players are in our side.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of players that I'm a little bit scared not to own, I think I might add Mitchell here. Just another one of those good value picks. A little bit worried about not owning him.
It's an interesting one. I know we spoke to Selby and he was really high on Titch, so much higher than us, but I still don't mind him as a pick.
That's a fantasy mindset though. He's always held up on a pedestal in that format. I think always will be. Well, maybe if he get bombs this year, he won't be. But I'm pretty worried about my forward line because I look at yours and it's a very nice forward line. You add in a couple of mid prices and you're done.
I have no mids or defenders really.
That's true. That's true.
I'm thinking. Okay, this is a waste, I think, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to take lead. So I'm actually
Whoa.
pretty big on. Yeah, I think trying to save a bit of time there because I've been thinking here for ages. But same time, I think he's the captain, and I think he's in my actual current team at the moment. So big fan.
All right. So how far into this are we? We've both picked 8 players. So a bit over a third of the way through, and we've both burnt through a fair bit of the salary cap. We had 9 mil to start. I've got 5.4 left. You've got 5.25 left. So, all right. Well, I guess I might. Actually, no. Do you know what? I think I've seen this work against me in the forward line. Taking some of the multiple good picks away from someone else seems to hurt. So I'm going to add Green here. Another one of the value picks that I like in the midfield. I think it slightly hurts what you've got as options there.
Yeah, might have to go a bit of a different route here for the midfield. We'll see how we go. I will take next. Can't go Green. I'm going to take Jordan Dawson.
Oh, that's who I was originally going to take. Okay, why Dawson?
I think he's my favorite of the 600. A little bit cheaper than Sicily. They're my top 2. And he's going to play more up the ground. I guess some people are concerned about that, but he's actually scored better there at Sydney, but different club now. So regardless, the Crows, he's the best kick at the Crows by a mile. They give it to him a lot. And I think there's maybe a little bit of upside. Maybe it's fair price. Maybe it's even overpriced, but he's thereabouts. I don't think it's too much overs if it is. So up to you. You next.
All right. I think I'm going to keep on hammering the midfield. The question for me is whether I take Warple or whether I take Sheed. What's the ownership on these? Maybe I'll let owners decide for me. 9 and 8%. I'll probably take Warple here. I don't know. I'm not super high on either, to be honest, but I feel like it's going to help my structure as I build out this team. It's more like decent value, and the reports on Warple have been pretty good so far in the preseason. So I'll take him there.
So I think that's might be bait for me to take Sheed, and kind of probably should. But yeah, I'll take Sheed. I think so. I think we saw the CBA numbers. He needs very high CBAs, and he can to barely scrape a 90 the last time he played inside. So, don't know. He's kind of been in and out my side. I don't think I have him at the moment, but he's an option. But yeah, I don't think doesn't. I think there are better options though with higher upside. But we'll see how he goes in the preseason.
All right, I'm going to fill out another cheap option down back with Goda, who's probably my preferred of the paid-up rookies down back at the moment, just given that he's got a couple of years in the system, looks to be getting a half-back role, and not too much in the way of that at the moment. So, yeah, still pretty optimistic about what Goda can do this year.
Okay, I think that's set off an alarm bell in my head to say pick Connor McKenna. Bit of mixed reports on McKenna. Some are saying that his fitness is not up to it. Sometimes people are saying Wilmot might be in front, but match sims seemed to go really well for him. It took a kick in or two. You would think that he plays round 1. It's not like he hasn't been in a professional system, but yeah, I think it's a bit of value to take away regardless.
Yeah, so my take on this at the moment, which may not be popular, is I feel like Brisbane Lion fans don't want him to be best 22. Like, it feels like there's some rooting against him and they see him as an outsider. Maybe it's because he's a bomber, whatever it is. But to me, just like as an outsider looking in, he's still like the guy that can offer quickness and offensive capability out of their defensive half, which they lacked last year. He's on a 1-year contract and he had offers to play at other clubs where he would have definitely been best 22. I can't imagine he came to do anything but play for a grand final this year and would have been, I reckon, guaranteed more or less space in their 22. So like I'd be really surprised if he's not there this year. All right, I'm going to go Ginby then down back. Continue to get some of the cheaper guys into the side at the moment, and just make sure I've got some money left at the end for some more premiums.
Yeah, definitely have to watch the cap. I'm at $4.1 million. So
I'm at
our next pick,
4.2, but I've had one extra pick, so I'm a little bit ahead on cash, which is nice.
I'm gonna go one where I actually quite like, and I'm thinking about him long and hard. Hayden Young down back. I think the kick-ins go up this year. They were at training anyway, but that's training.
Yeah. I mean, and it's always hard to tell with training as well because he is someone there for the future. And so you can see why they'd be practicing with him now, given that Ryan's had years of experience. Does he need extra in training? I wouldn't have thought there'd be a ton. And especially given that in those simulation games, you have two teams, you might want to have them on other sides so they can each have some practice. Like, I can see why that would be the case. All right, let's have a look at ownership percentage to see if there's anyone I've missed. Like Weddle's probably one of the options, and Bo's down back I could consider in the midfield. I mean, these top three are all yours. Oliver's there, which I'm happy to wait on. Rosie, you took. Rux, I guess, you took Marshall. Cameron, I'm not really interested in at the moment. And I think you're probably in the same boat, but it's not like I love Grundy or anyone else. You're a big Wits believer. So I might leave him there for you. And then the forwards, I think, we already took the big ones, didn't we? So I probably need another mid-pricer here or another premium. You're not going to take another premium. I don't have to do that. So a mid-pricer here, one that we've...
Could it be possible?
There's no way that
Does he play for the Crows?
There's no way that anyone ever drafts Miller here, right? I think we could play this against any other content creators, anyone, and no one would pick Miller this high. The other option would be someone like Flanders, who you're all skin on, or your boy McDonald.
Save him for me, surely.
Yeah, I'll take Miller for now. All right, let's go Miller.
Man, I've spoken, half of my channel has been Wayne Miller at the moment, so I don't know if I need to go any more into that.
Yeah. Training off halfback, he scored well there in the past. The only other person that's really competing for ball use is Dawson. Miller has got the talent, he's got the age, he just needs to stay on the park, and as long as he gets through the preseason fine, then I guess we'll all consider.
Yep. I'll go Oscar Allen. I really like him. I do think, just reading through his injury a few years ago, I think he played through injury, which affected and he was subbed off in the last game, the last time he played. So he started really well, and then he was dropping 30s left, right, and center. So I want to say that he was playing a bit injured, and he can I think he can pull a 70 or 75. Yeah, he said he's as fit as he's ever been. So I quite like Oscar Allen. If we get another option like in our actual teams, that's like a CBA mid around the price, like maybe a Flanders, and I'll probably opt for him. But I do like Oscar Allen.
Yep. Are you worried that he's just going to be that stay-at-home forward? He's not going to be moving up the ground more?
2021, he only had 1 or 1.5 hitouts a game. So I reckon there might be a chance that he reliefs in the forward line, but not beyond that. But it does sound like they don't want him to go out his way to ruck. But yeah, apparently, again, fitter than he's ever been. Key forwards can still score okay. We're not talking premiums here, but yeah, I just think, and for some reason, he received a 40% discount, I think, which was odd, but we'll take it.
All right. Do you want to take a guess at who there's a mid forward that's $350K that's got 12% ownership that I don't think either of us have ever considered. He had reports come out in today or the last couple of days about more midfield time.
Yeah.
Do you know who it is?
Old mate. Yeah, Franco.
Yeah. I can't believe it's 12%. And the three mid prices we discussed were all all single digits. That's crazy to me. Oh man. All right.
We've had a few interruptions, like 1 or 2 this preseason. So I don't know, but sounds like they're going to give him mid-time.
Okay, so I've got 9 picks left and 3.9k. That's like roughly like 450k a pick. So I probably need at least one more cheap guy, and then I can start unloading some premiums, I think. Probably a couple more cheap guys. So I might go... I might go Weddle here. And I think I'd probably rather prefer Caulfield to Weddle, but I think given you're starting to run low on cash, this hurts you more than like picking Caulfield benefits me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you taking those 500k mids is put me in a bit of a tricky spot.
Oh, I mean, like LDU's still there, who I like. Maybe you're not as high on LDU as I am.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you can do 105 to 110. I think I'll go... This is a bit iffy. Oh, hang on. I was going to pick a sub-risk, but I might just leave it for now.
Don't put Wilmot in. Sub-risk. Total sub-risk. Although you might have to with money.
Yeah. I'll take Ben King.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Forward line done. I mean, that's a very nice looking forward line. You've got the 3 premiums and then 3 good value picks. It could be a forward line you see in any team at the moment. So don't hate that whatsoever.
Ben King's 29%. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's quite high. It's quite high. You're not worried that someone like that's going to burn you, though, are you?
Oh, not really. I think I just look at his scoring and I see, I think 4 out of 5 weeks were sub-30s or something. He doesn't really get up the ground enough more. You stay at home, but I don't know. He's pretty young. It's his 5th year now.
Yep. Okay, how am I going to finish out this side? Because I think the problem for me here is once Phillips and Ashcroft are gone, these last 2 mid spots to try and put in an extra cheap player is not great. I mean, I could always move Ginby down and add Caulfield here, and maybe that's what I do. Actually, I think that's probably right. Add Caulfield here, move Ginby down into the midfield. Continue to build the war chest for premiums on the run home.
Yep. There's a few mid prices probably aren't that good that you can probably slot in a few lines. I think I'll take in the midfield. You haven't taken Flanders, have you?
No.
I just think they just can't make any more noise about Flanders. I do worry about the CBAs, but just the VFL numbers are very nice. So, top 10 pick, all that.
Yeah, no, I like that Flanders pick. I think that's who I probably would have picked next because I feel like I need one more cheaper option in the forward line, and that's probably who I would have gone. Fife doesn't interest me, even though the talk has been that he maybe does get some mid-time. Cameron, I think we've kind of ruled out for now. This hurts. I mean, I could look at someone like Bruce, but I think it's still a bit speculative, just given that it's not guaranteed he's best 22. I'm not sure if it looks particularly good in a team. But with that said, there's not much else going on here. Like Thomas is a no. Flanders, you've already picked. This could be a little bit tough on the forward line. I'm sure there's someone else that I'm missing that's obvious.
No interest in like a Cunnington or anything?
I mean, I could if I have to fill out the money, but like at 400k, he's really got to be a keeper, or at least close to it. And I don't know, can you see him being a keeper?
I highly doubt it. Apparently, he's been playing a little bit forward at training, not much, but still enough to worry you at that age. At North, like they don't need him to play full-time mid. Like, what's the point in the rebuild?
I could pick Philippou here. Maybe that's all right. Okay, I think I might do that.
Okay, I do worry he's sub-risk.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. Is he sub-risk? Is he best 22? Not sure. But I mean, if it's him or Bruce, yeah.
Value's definitely drying up.
Yeah.
I'll go in the midfield and I'll take Took.
Turk. Okay. Why Turk?
A little bit cheaper than Oliver. Oliver's hands, not too sure what's going on there, but I think he'll probably be fine. And yeah, I think I have Took in my top 4 mids. So I need mids. Let's go Took.
All right. Let's have a look at your team. So I don't need to pick forwards now until the end. You've got mids to pick. You're not going to pick any more premium defenders. Both got to fight for another ruck still. You're probably not going another big midfielder. You could. All right. So I think for like I want another midfielder here. I guess I'm at the point now where I've got about what I think is like 550 or 60k a pick left. And so I could go Oliver here, or I could go someone like McRae here, who's a little bit cheaper, saves me a bit of money.
I still think value would be the way to go here.
Yeah,
if there's any left. But
I'm just thinking like, what would I add to my actual team? And I'm more likely to add McRae than Oliver at the moment, so that's where McRae comes in.
Yep. So I think next, I thought about Jack Bowes, but man, he played quite poorly when not in that role early 2021. So he's a tough one. Let's get Liam Jones there, 8%. I think I'll take... I almost said Jai Cully there. Someone was posting about him in the Discord. Now, I don't know how this is going to screw my money up, but Richard, I'm just going to take another mid.
You've got like 2.4. You've got 6 picks left. You've got about 400k a pick.
Yeah, I think I can go a mid for now. I think I'll just take Jack Steele.
Yep. Don't mind Jack Steele.
I have a few defenders in mind, but not too sure.
Okay.
I just need to find 2 real cheap guys in premiums, I think, from here.
Okay. Do I go the ruck now? I probably do.
You basically take your pick with your premiums now.
More or less. I think I still need one cheaper guy, but I think I'll take Darcy here. I think he is still my next favorite after the 2 that we've already picked. I know you like Wits. I know others like Grundy, but yeah, I think I'm still happy with Darcy. I don't think Jackson's going to be as big of a downside as people expect it will be. Oh, I know who you can get for value in defense still. There's a couple. I mean, but I like Bowes. I would have picked Bowes.
There's a guy in my fantasy team that I wouldn't mind taking, but he's a bit more expensive in this format. So I'm going to run.
Any other clues?
Have you taken Salem? No.
Oh yeah, Salem. Oh, I totally forgot about Salem. That's a good pick. Yeah.
I don't like Salem. I was watching him last year and he was rubbish, but yeah,
he was really bad.
He had a few injuries though, so a bit more confidence for preseason should be okay. So I'm gonna go Jaden Hunt.
Yeah, I think that's my first. Exactly the one. That was exactly.
I feel like that's my first. Like I look at it, I'm like, I don't know, but there was an interview with him the other day. He played lockdown last year, and I would assume that he's been good in the match sim run and carry. I assume that he gets freed up a little bit, so I think he's probably good for like actually, when I think about it, 280k for maybe a 70. It's actually not that good, but.
I have a feeling, without bringing the numbers up now, but when Brayshaw was released into the midfield at the back end of last year, he was the one that played halfback. He was the Brayshaw replacement. And I have a feeling he went over 70 during that stretch. Actually, you could just bring it up on screen now, right? If you click into Hunt, you can see stats from... Oh, I can do it. Hold on. So 2022 stats. So I have a feeling that when he came back after these games here were in Brayshaw in the midfield. Let's just get the calculator out quickly. So he was playing a halfback role here, and then he's moved over to West Coast to play it. I think the big difference, obviously, is that there's not much else in that defensive line. It's Hunt in terms of other users. So this is a 71.5 average over those four, and the ball's going to be a lot more down in the defensive half. So I think this is who I thought you were going to go with this pick. I could see him reasonably going 75. Maybe if you're really optimistic, low 80. All right, I'm at the point now where I've got about 550k left for each of the picks. So I probably still need 2 more premium forwards, and then I'm picking a couple of defenders. Or I could move Gimby back into defense, just pick 1 more premium defender, and then get another premium midfielder. I think the problem is looking at Jords' team. Steele is probably the one that I was looking at next. I'm not sure I want Oliver still. All right, let's pick a defender I like then. So I will go Stuart.
Okay. So we've both taken the 600k guy.
Yeah.
I will take Liam Jones. I just feel not a fan.
Gross. No, it's just uninspired. I liked Hunt more. That was a more fun pick.
Maybe Bose is probably better, but I'm running a bit tight for money. I think I've got a 400k average here, so 2 premiums and a sub 200k guy, I think is what we're looking at here.
All right. I know I need to pick another defender or midfield. Actually, what have you got left? You've got 2 mids to pick, but you're not going to pick premiums. You've got.
I could DPP into the mid. I could DPP. So if there's any forwards I like.
Yeah. So that's the difficult thing with the forwards. Who is there to like? And I'll tell you what, there is someone around Cunnington's price that you're not going to pick. I shouldn't pick him now. I should leave him for last pick, but I like him more than Cunnington. It's Nick Martin. By all reports, he is the most outstanding trainer at Essendon this year. Going to be playing more midfield role, and he's just naturally gets to the right space. You combine that with this year, he's actually had a preseason, didn't have one of those last year, put it on extra 3 kegs of muscle as well, while still being able to win the time trials and that type of stuff. Like he is primed to go from strength to strength. Is standing in Dacos's shadow? Sure. But Nick Martin, let's run it back.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about him. Also, I just realized my maths is a total failure. My average is about 400k here, so I might only get the 1 premium in. I'll go with, I don't know if I should be paying for Wits.
Oh,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 premiums. Plus Wits, 12. We'll go Wits. I could go cheaper, but I think realistically, I don't really know what else to pick here. English is off the board, Shrek's off the board. Omac, Darcy Fort could come in at any time. Nan Curvis, it could be okay, but I don't know. Don't love his durability. So I've paid up for old Whitler here.
Okay. I don't actually love that I have to pick a forward here still. But I probably should, so I can then figure out what I want to do with the rest of the side. Can I go more? Probably not. What about if I go someone cheaper? No, I've got even if I wanted to go Oliver, I've still got 450k to spend. I may as well just pay up for someone.
You got plenty of money.
Yeah. All right. Do you know what? Let's go Dylan Moore. Look, he's 6th in our rankings at the moment, and the big knock on him is with DPPs, there's a chance he becomes the guy that you eventually don't want. But if he does get the CBAs, he only had 15 and 16% last year, but if he ends up getting 40% CBAs, which is totally possible, that is in the realm of outcomes, then he, I think, becomes a top 3 or 4 forward, and maybe it's one of these other guys like Cogs or Butters or Rosie that you end up not wanting.
I'm going to chuck Rosie in my midfield, and just for the memes, we'll go Connor McDonald. I figured I have my 12 premium, so I feel like I can just pay for whoever at this point in terms of filling out the rest of the team. Not too worried about getting that extra premium in. And look, I guess the hope is he gets more mid-time training in the midfield, but there's a lot of young guys that want more mid-time there. So he's just very much a post practice games watch. And even at his price, like I'm realistic, it's going to be pretty tough for a second-year player to hold mid-roll and score well.
All right, so I'm on my last pick here. I've got 628k, and so I've got Gimby in the mid, so I can move him back, I think, and then pick a midfielder, or I could pick Sicily. So I've got enough for Sicily, which I think is an all right option. Otherwise, who have I got in the midfield that I could pick? I wish this was sorted by... I could pick like Parish or Cripps. Do I want them or Sicily? Only having one premium down back, I probably should pick Sicily here. I think that's probably the better move for team balance. All right, and then Jords, 350k. Who is
all right?
on the
Last
clock?
pick. Am I blind, or is it not letting me pick forwards?
Oh, because you need to move someone into midfield still.
Yeah, okay. Just look at the 350k range as we sort by.
5. Oh, it's lined up for 5.
No, we need to sort by highest price. Okay, quick look at 350. Langford, never forget that. In a few years ago, like a few people brought him in. As soon as he had high CBAs for a bit there.
You could get like Perkins, couldn't you? What's Perkins at? The pump article came out for Perkins today that he's going to get more midfield time. He's a 314k forward. There you go, 117.
I'll just look at the mids, but I thought he was going to break out last year, but he just didn't get the mid time. And how can you guys have? Shields form as well was really good. So how can
it was
you
only
take those
second
top
year
three
last
out?
year as well, but he hits I think his 50th game this year. Oh, what's Berry at? What's he priced at in this? Is he like 400k?
470. I reckon I'm going to take Lockie Ash.
Ooh, on halfback.
I think he's training halfback.
Yeah, that's the report. The report is he's training halfback. Him and Whitfield are both. Oh, I could have picked Whitfield over Martin. What a blunder! No, that might have lost me any fan vote though. I don't know. All right, so George, you can hit save then and set your captain, vice captain, whatever, and then we'll each just quickly talk through our team and look at the strengths and weaknesses, and then we'll leave it up to the viewers to vote who had the better team and why. What was the pick that we left out that we should have gotten and all that jazz. So just quickly going through mine, I think I've got 11, maybe 12 premiums, depending on what you call a premium. But Sicily and Stewart as the pillars down back in defense, which I think is very high ceiling. And then Yo, Caulfield, go to Weddle. This feels like a pretty solid back six. In the mids, we've got Bont, McRae, Green, and Mitchell. And those 4, actually Hopper and Warple, those 6 might all be in my actual midfield at the moment. So I'm really happy with that. Gimby, I've got on my side anyway. Phillips, I've got on my side. Obviously, no Ashcroft, which Jords has here. And then I'm missing Oliver or Laird, which I know a lot of people like. But I think this is still a very strong, value-oriented midfield that I'm pretty happy with. English and Darcy, they're 2 of the top 3 rucks I have ranked at the moment. No Marshall definitely hurts, but I think I've got a very strong ruck line here. And then the forwards is where Jords absolutely takes me behind the woodshed and dusts me because, look, Butters and Taranto, these are 2 great picks. And Miller, I'm pretty happy with. But Philippou instead of Allen, McLean, or King hurts. And then Moore is okay. But, I'd rather have Cogs, Rosie, or the other one that I'm forgetting. And then Nick Martin is a little fun pick here for me. I think others would rather have Cunnington here or maybe even Fife, and that's fine. But this definitely does make it quite a unique team because I can't imagine Martin's in more than 1 or 2% of Bomber Homer fans' teams, and that's about it.
He'll play wing Martin, won't he? Probably.
Yep. And he played a little bit more half forward last year, so he should get, I think, more access to ball this year. I'm pretty optimistic he'll do well. He's someone in draft formats people should definitely be rating higher than what he's priced at. But in SuperCoach, the reality is his upside is like mid to low 90s, and that's going to sit outside the 8, which is, unfortunate. It's probably not a great pick there. But I could always get some value out of him if I was to play this as a real team and then trade him on at some point. Oh,
It'd actually be cool. It would
Dunkley's
actually be cool if we actually like played with these teams throughout the year and see how we went.
Yeah, no, that's I've always wished that we could have more than one team, and you just tick like, this is my starting entry team for the actual competition, and then everything else is just draft or fun. Because I'd love to play these like fun teams to see how they go across the year.
Yes, I'll explain my team. So Dawson, Young, Dacos. I think I've had a variation of that in my team today. I've been playing around with it, but I do like those three. I think if they're in terms of, you take your haircut on your top end 600Ks, I think Young and Dacos are probably the leading two at the moment. You can make a case for like a Dale, maybe a Redmond, too sure, but I think Young's apparently been taking more kick-ins and Dacos just special. So. And then it's just Jaden Hunt. Like, I look at your mid prices are probably a little bit better. Like, you got your Hopper there, whereas I got like Flanders a little bit speculative, C-Mac a bit speculative, Hunt a little bit speculative as well. So Hunt, Jones, and McKenna, I expect them all to be best 22. I think you can maybe ask the question of McKenna, but nonetheless, I think if he's there round 1, it's going to be hard to actually bench him unless he's named as the sub. Midfield, Laird and Took, CVC. I think I feel pretty comfortable with that. Especially with C on Laird. Last year having C on Laird was pretty good when he went for that run. So, and start season's okay. I think he scored a 140 in his second game. So hopefully he continues that sort of form. I like Steele. A little bit iffy on the preseason reports, but you would think that last year was his floor. I don't know. We'll see how he goes. And then, Lockie Ash, I reckon he's reached like mid 400s before a few years back playing halfback. When he was getting 4 or 5 kick-ins, Isaac Cumming was getting 4 or 5 back then. Sheed, see how he goes. Should be like an okay. I don't see him being an outstanding pick, but I think he'll be an okay pick. Flanders, see how he goes. Ashcroft, McLean, I think we have locked. Witts, Marshall, I'm pretty stoked with that. I guess with Witts, you look at his scores from last year and you just think, oh, he went big. Okay, he versed nobody. He went big again. He versed nobody. I actually quite like him for fantasy. I know it's not a fantasy video, but historically he scored quite well in fantasy. And in the second half of the year, his fantasy was better than his SuperCoach. So how does that work? Maybe just let's hit us to advantage. So I like what he brings. The only thing I don't like is his age isn't great. And his price really sucks. It really, we saw last year how important value was. And paying 600K for Witts, it's you're giving up a bit of points to the rest of the comp. But you get a bit of security. And then Rowan kind of speaks for himself, too much value to pass up. And then the midfield, I've probably had a variation of this midfield, but no Taranto there, obviously. But Dunks, Cogs, and Rosie, I think we all have them in our top 4 or 5 forwards. C-Mac, you just hope he gets the mid-time. Could bomb, but I think he'll be okay. I think he's had a good preseason. I think Allen, best 22. King, clear best 22. No sub-risk. Ride the ups and downs with these guys. And, hope for the best. So I'm actually quite happy with it. I maybe wish I had maybe like a Sicily or something. I do love Sicily, but just looks better with him there. But I think this team could be competitive in the real stuff. Obviously, you're missing your Hopper and stuff like that, which will make it hard. But I think it would do okay.
Yep. Yeah, no, I think both the teams look good on paper. One thing that sticks out to me, actually, for carrying over to real team building, is that beyond Ashcroft and Phillips, there's really not much we like in the way of midfield rookies at the moment, or anyone around that price range, which makes sense, right? Like Wardlaw's probably going to be eased into it. Sardis is injured. C-Mac, a little bit iffy on like how ready he is and how good that role is going to be. And so then, really beyond those two, like I had to put in Ginby into the mids, you get to put McLean, and they're probably two of the players we're looking to hold down this defense and forward line. So missing out on those, I think, was quite hard to then build a team around. If I let you take both, I think it would have been in a lot of trouble, to be honest.
So who did you take first again? I took Rowan.
I took Hopper.
Okay, would you take Hopper first again would you take like an Ashcroft or McLean first?
If I was giving away my strategy, do you know what? I think McLean's probably the other one. I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't think Ashcroft's good enough value that you take him 1. But I can see him always being in the top like 5 to 10. Yep. Yeah, but I guess it also comes down to scarcity, right? Because like I take Hopper, but there's still Warple, Sheed, Flanders, C-Mac, whatever. But yeah, if you take Ashcroft and then you take Phillips against someone in this, like if those are two of your first 3 picks, then you probably just win. But anyway, that's enough musings for now. If this has been fun and you enjoyed us drafting against each other like that, then please let us know, because we will try and find maybe some others to do this with, like compete against. And then secondly, let us know who won. Whose team did you prefer out of the two of us? Jords has been up on screen for a while. Here's mine. You can pause and go back and forth and have a look at both. But let us know who you think built the better team, who you'd be more willing to start round 1. And yeah, the picks that we might have missed out. Otherwise, thank you very much for joining us, and I'll see you in the next one.